guys are the owners and founders of Sleeping Giant Distillery, Rock Hill's very first distillery since Prohibition. Is that right?
Entirety of York County, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay,
all
nice.
of York. It took us 7 years total to
7
open
years open
since we purchased the building.
Yeah.
Wow.
And welcome to another episode of the Bandit Room. My name is Charles. I'm joined here in the studio today by Mr. Caleb.
Hello.
Thanks for joining. And Mr. Aggie.
Hey man, what's up?
Thanks. And our guests today across the table are Mr. William and Patrick Bradner. How are y'all?
Good, doing
Good.
great.
Yeah, excited to be here.
Fantastic.
What did you just call them, Mister?
Mister?
Yeah, we're married. We're brothers and we're married.
Mr. William.
Awkward.
Sorry. Okay, all right. Aggie's going to criticize my intro every single time. Mr. William and Mr. Patrick Bradner. You are both Bradners. You are not married. You are indeed brothers.
Brothers,
So you do share the last name.
Yeah.
You share the last name because you are brothers in the same family. Okay.
Yes.
Glad we're clearing that up straight away. So we invited you here. You guys are the owners and founders of Sleeping Giant Distillery here in Rock Hill.
Yep.
So that is what it's Rock Hill's very first distillery since Prohibition. Is that right?
Say-
York County's first.
Yeah, we'll say, York County's first legal. I'm sure there have many other distilleries, I'm sure, that didn't pass the legality aspect of it. We can probably claim the first legal.
So just for Rock Hill, or all of York, or
Entirety of York County, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah, all
nice.
of York, and
All of York, yeah.
technically Lancaster and Chester don't have anything down there yet either.
We might redo it.
We'll just claim that. Yeah.
The whole what do we call this? Tri-county area.
Yeah.
is this called the Tri-County? That's
don't know,
not.
we
That's
just made
that's
that
Raleigh, dude.
We can make our own.
They call it.
It's
What do
our
they
own
call
Tri-County.
We're the South Tri-County.
You heard it here. It's the Catawba region.
They
The
call this
first legal
the
distillery in the Catawba.
Upper Palmetto? Is that?
Piedmont?
Call
I guess.
Nikki Haley,
Upper
man.
Piedmont?
Call Nikki.
Let's find out.
Well, tell us about that. So, what are your backgrounds? What brought you to start making rum?
So my background is in engineering and environmental science, believe it or not. So in my previous life, I was an environmental consultant.
Okay.
Did a lot of site sampling and report writing. And this was just kind of a dream that always been there, to own my own business and have fun with it. So I just started experimenting hypothetically.
Hypothetically, we started experimenting.
I was like, how does one start this journey? Because you gotta have equipment. So, what are you making this in, like your house?
Yeah,
and some
yeah.
kind of
You basically just order it off the internet.
a little
Yeah,
rig?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like a 5-gallon
just
still.
a shiner kit.
Oh,
What is
yeah.
it? Okay.
So why rum?
That's just what we like to drink.
It's our, if we had to pick if you had to pick like one last spirit and you could only drink that for the rest of your life. At least I think for me, I think maybe you too, rum would be a very safe choice for us. It's our favorite thing to drink.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Nice.
What if you come across in a bar a really good-looking girl and she wants you to try gin?
And she's not the girl for you.
That's a big. I don't think I've ever met anyone in the bar saying no to that. But all right, we'll go with it. We'll go with
Hey,
it.
there you go.
Okay.
How about it? So, I mean, I take it this isn't like a family trade or anything. You just kind of took a liking to.
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
but when you
Creation
started with
process.
rum, is that like Bacardi as a starting point, or is it you guys were directly introduced to some fancy rum?
Well, so rum has to be made from a sugarcane or sugarcane byproduct. So commonly it's made from molasses, really cheap. It can be made from brown sugar, cane sugar, anything like that. So we chose to go a different direction and make out of something called panela. We source from Ecuador. It's just dried sugarcane juice. So it is along the lines of Bacardi, but we like to think we're a higher scale than Bacardi would be.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's that's one of the first I would say distillery that I visited years
really?
ago in Puerto Rico, long time ago.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's huge, yeah.
Yeah.
So when typically if you drink rum, we'll say Bacardi and Coke or whatever they can, instead of
Mixers.
saying rum, you just say Bacardi. So do you guys have any liking towards Bacardi rum at all? Or you don't?
Does Bacardi listen to this?
They can sponsor.
Hey, we're looking
them
for
on.
a sponsor. So, yeah, let's see.
There is nothing wrong with Bacardi rum. I just would prefer not to drink it.
Okay, so what was the first brand of rum you guys started drinking before you started making your own?
Believe it or not, it probably was Captain Morgan, but that was probably like not high school, college days, that kind of thing.
That'd be the same for me. That, and I guess if we want to technically throw Malibu in there, that's
those.
Unfortunately,
that's not really
the flavored stuff.
It's like more of a rum liqueur.
And we got into more of the aged rums, and there's all different kinds of varieties, and where they're sourced and where they're made from, and some wonderful old aged rums out there.
Have you ever tried Old Monk rum from India?
I have not.
Do you have
That's
What's
the
it called?
most.
Old
I
Monk?
don't. I grew up. And I.
You grew up
Once
drinking
upon a time.
Have you already
from a
been
very
drinking?
young age.
Once upon a time, that was my go to drink.
Yeah.
Very popular in India.
It's called Old Monk.
Old Monk. Yeah.
Old Monk.
I need to next time when I go by there. I need to bring.
What's
a
the
bottle.
origin? Do you know? Is it like
Dude,
a monastery kind of
I
thing?
don't
Because
know.
like a lot of
Caleb, get ready to
liquors
bleep.
come from. Okay, yeah.
Bleep.
I don't fucking know, Charles.
Let's look it up. Hey.
No, that's a very. I mean, in India, rum, Old Monk, like how we call Bacardi, rum here. That's how Old Monk. They just
That's
say,
what
give me
they
Old
say,
Monk.
isn't
Yeah,
like a household
Very-
name.
I don't know what it is now. Obviously, other things have become popular. We're going back many years.
And what's your background, Patrick?
So not science related at all. So I actually went into finance. So I started out kind of on like a trade desk, and kind of morphed into like a compliance role from there. So I don't have a lot of I don't have the science aspect. I do enjoy drinking, so I guess that's kind of like how I can blend in the science with that.
Yeah.
But we kind of have, when we were thinking about starting the business, it was very much like Will, of course, is the science background. Duke can do anything with science, and then I kind of have a bit more of like the marketing, the financial side of it. So together,
Gotcha.
I think we make a pretty good
Nice.
pair. I mean,
Yeah.
I could probably stumble through what he does. The rum would probably not be the current quality that it is, but
It's okay. Your job would be boring to me anyways.
He's like, I could stumble through your job too.
listen to your buddy.
Yeah. Just might get arrested for tax fraud or something. What are the sort of levels to it? Because I'm primarily familiar with, like you were talking about, like Bacardi and Captain Morgan. I haven't really delved into the whatever you're talking about, the aged stuff. There's a lot of like an aging process to some of it.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, and so in a lot of the parts of the world, bourbon doesn't exist, or whiskey is hard to come by.
Yeah.
And sugarcane is a pretty prevalent product to be made there, and so in a lot of South America and Caribbean nations and things like that, rum is the go-to drink, and so people age those in used bourbon barrels to give them kind of a bourbon flair. New American oak barrels, so you can treat it the same way you would a whiskey.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay. And how long have you guys been in business now?
So it'll be 2 years this January.
Okay.
Yeah, and we were going to release our aged rum on that date as well.
I was about to get to that. So so what's the aging process for y'all? So how long does it take to make like what we've got here versus?
So in front of you right now is one of our spice flavored rums. So this is based off of a silver rum, and it's just mildly aged and has some spices thrown into it. So the whole process is about 6 to 8 weeks, give or take.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you can get a product that quickly.
Correct.
But
yeah.
you were referring to one that you're about to release, which is like an aged product.
That one's been aged for about 14 months. So that one's going to be a little more robust. Yeah, in its flavor.
Are we going to see some advanced flavors in like the next 5
Sure.
years of
Of
things
course.
that you've
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah.
So are you like planning on releasing a anniversary edition every year?
Maybe.
We could,
Definitely
yeah.
this year.
Okay, right.
Definitely this year, I think we could. It'd be
For the
fun to do
foreseeable
kind of
future.
like
Yeah.
one-off aged barrels.
Yeah. That's cool.
Each year, the ones released for the anniversary, they're aged in New American oak barrels.
Okay.
Are you guys from Rock Hill?
More or less, yeah. I mean, I grew up in the TK Fort Mill area. I live in Rock Hill now, but I'm well over 30 years, so I'm practically native.
Right. So how did you guys end up finding that location? But it's used to say cotton factory, right? On it?
Yeah. Well, what would you refer to it as? The cotton.
So it was actually
building?
a cotton grading facility. So
near the cotton factory, which we were
Yes.
talking about last
it
week.
used to say cotton factory outside.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
made a lot of money
Cotton,
taking
yeah.
pictures in front of it. that was one of my favorite spots.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
By the tracks.
so there was a warehouse beside us, and this was part of the Williams Cotton Company. So this was one of the smaller cotton companies in that era, early 1900s.
Right.
So they would get it's a co-op. So they would have all the farmers bring bales of cotton stored in the giant warehouse, and then they would bring over samples to be graded, the quality and the fibers, colors, things like that, in the facility that we have.
Okay.
So again, early 1900s, we tried to maintain as much of the building as we could.
Yeah.
It's
Definitely.
it's hard to do that and and bring it up to the current code required to make
we know.
spirits.
We went through it.
That's
It's
true.
quite intense. I mean, it was to play off
Right.
of that, we looked around when we first had this idea at different places that we maybe would want to put it. Obviously, in this area, believe it or not, it's very hard to find a standalone building that's affordable for us that we could do something with. So we drove all over the place, Rock Hill and York and Fort Mill.
York, Lancaster.
Just
Yeah.
kept
Sorry,
coming back to.
what do you mean? But does it have to be a standalone building?
It doesn't, but it helps tremendously when you're distilling.
Okay.
Yeah. The state laws, it can't be connected to residences, and if it's connected to other businesses, there has to be firewalls in between, all kinds of crazy stuff.
Gotcha.
So and we have separating firewalls in the distillery, but if then you have a building beside yours, then it requires just additional money, time.
Right on.
Yeah.
So your business does not need foot traffic? No, can you drink there?
Well, so you can do a tasting. So think of it more of like a like going to a winery and having a wine tasting, that kind of thing. So we can't serve cocktails per se. We do tastings, and we have little mini mixed drinks or mixers that go with them, and you can kind of be your own bartender. It kind of gets around the current SC law that way because we can't serve cocktails.
Gotcha. You can't serve cocktails, but
Yeah.
if somebody wanted to make one themselves, that would be
Essentially, they're small cocktails.
So how do you guys distribute now? Like, where do you find this?
So in South Carolina, you have to. We can sell out of our distillery. Obviously, that's the best place.
Right.
If anyone's listening to this and wants to purchase a bottle,
Support local.
yeah. If not,
If you have one case left, we can probably sell that.
So we use B&B, so they're local distributors. So
Right.
we're in O'Darby's, some of the state line stores up in Fort Mill, some stores in Lake Wiley and York.
Yeah.
We're in some restaurants around the area too. So we're making our rounds. Maybe next year we might try to expand and go elsewhere, but
Okay, so right now you're only in South Carolina.
only in South Carolina.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
nice.
So what does it take to sell in North Carolina? Is that you have to go through a whole new licensing?
So we are an NC supplier, so we currently could sell it to someone in North Carolina, but since it's a state-controlled state, if so, for instance, someone in Pineville, which is right across the border, wants to purchase a couple of bottles of ours, so they would order a case that would go to the local ABC store. The ABC store would tell the Raleigh warehouse that they would relay that to us. Then we have to deliver the case all the way up to Raleigh. Then it goes all the way back down to Pineville and then to the store. Yeah. So we're not. Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. We're not too keen on that right now, just because we're very few over here, and so that would take quite a bit of time just to deliver a case or two up there.
Yeah.
But at some point, I think we will once we can get a little more.
So now people who order liquor online, are you able to sell that from your distillery to send it to their house?
We haven't done that yet. We're going to look into that, but there's all kinds of licensing you have to do on our end to be able to do that, like everything else in the distilled world. But I think it's a possibility in the future. Yeah.
Okay.
Certainly.
Interesting.
Cool.
So what kind of production do you have right now at your current facility?
Is that the right term,
you're
Charles?
Huh?
Is that the right term?
I don't know. What is the right term? What kind
Right
of,
enough. Yeah.
what's,
Are you?
I know what he's talking about. I mean,
what's your output like?
No,
right
I
now?
want to
Like,
know
how
what
much-
the right term is. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
What would you say? Like your distilling?
production would be a good thing. Yeah,
Production.
I mean, like, because it's a part of the whole process. So I mean, like, first off, you're gonna start with the fermentation, and then you would go to distillation, and then after that, you would do either flavoring or you would dilute it to a drinking strength or age it in a barrel. And then you bottle it, label it. So the whole thing is production.
So when
for
you
sure.
go into the first stage,
Yeah.
are you going in saying we're going to make 20 cases out of this, or what is the starting point for you?
So when we make a ferment, we do 400 gallons, and from that we get anywhere from like 310 to 410 bottles, which is a pretty good turnaround for 400 gallons of ferment. I know it sounds crazy, but those are 750 ml bottles. So
So when you go in, so you're always going for that 300 or 400 gallon, and then whatever comes out of it,
correct.
it's okay for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
Now, how many flavors of
Yeah,
rum
let's talk
do you
about the
guys
different
have?
products that you sell.
Ooh,
Yeah.
oh, I love this part. Unless you want to talk about this. You talk about
No,
this. Go for it.
you've got
What's
a
your
beautiful voice.
flagship?
So Our flagship would probably just be our silver rum.
Yeah.
So that is the one that's going to be the rummiest of the bunch. It's straight from the still. Legally, we can't flavor that. We can't age it, anything like that. So it is just pure rum. That's probably my favorite, to be honest.
So when
Probably
you say
probably
silver,
purest.
it's white, like
It's clear.
Clear.
Yeah,
Clear.
it's clear.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
white rum,
Right.
clear rum, platinum rum. I've seen some companies call it, which I think is a little reaching, but you
Yeah,
know,
platinum is a bit much. I don't know about rare earth metals, but
diamond rum.
diamond rum.
Right.
But it's the 80 proof. It's the 40%.
Yeah. So based off of that, we have different flavors. So the first one's coffee. So we use locally sourced coffee from Knowledge Perk, believe it or not. We use a burn rate coffee in it. Put in some other things in there, some hazelnut, cinnamon, vanilla, sweeten it with raisins. We actually make our own raisin paste, which is pretty awesome.
Cool.
Then we have our spiced rum, which is what is right in front of you already.
Right on.
Yeah.
So that's got when we create anything, we want to venture outside the box of what hasn't been done before. We like to try to push those boundaries of what a spiced rum can be, what a coffee rum can be. And so I think we've done it with this one. So this has apple, almond, vanilla, cinnamon, clove, nutmeg, allspice, all that good stuff.
So when you talk about all those fruits, are you mixing real fruits to get a flavor?
Some of them, yeah.
Okay.
So if it's real spices, we'll put them in there. We may use real raisin. If we do use an extract, it's all natural extracts. We don't use any kind of artificial coloring or flavoring or any kind of. There's additional products you can use for mouthfeel. We believe it or not, we use anything like that. That stuff's all cheating, kind of gross, to be honest.
So it takes you from the first process to bottling how long?
6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
give or take.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty labor intensive.
What can
process
go
too.
wrong during those 6 to 8 weeks? No, I just want to know. Like,
Well,
Everything.
yeah. I mean, the
That's
ferment
what he
could,
worries about, I guess.
the ferment could go wrong. We could spill a lot of it, which is probably the worst thing that could happen.
Yeah.
right.
I guess we could explode, but that's probably not likely. It's probably low on the likely.
Okay.
list there.
Hopefully there's not some kind of combustion.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff. I mean, we could mislabel bottles. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
So at what point do you like taste it and you go, ugh, I don't know if we should bottle this? No, that can also happen, right? Or no?
yes, but we every time before we come out with something new, we'll make a sample of it, like a small sample, and then kind of scale it up. And more or less, it does scale up. Certain things don't scale. Cinnamon doesn't quite scale that way, and clove. But that when we're doing something like that, we just watch it very closely and be able to pull. Like when we're putting spices in there, they all go into individual containers so that we can actually pull those out when we need to, when we think they're done.
The reason I was asking, one of my friend owns a brewery, and he always talks about some of the stuff these guys will brew, and he's like, it tastes crap, so they just dump it.
Ooh, I don't think I've ever done.
I think beer in that instance, because like beer basically stops at our fermentation stage. So I feel like if the beer's completed and the fermentation is done, whatever product comes out of that is, if it's bad, it's bad. We still can throw it in the still and then distill it from there.
Okay.
Yeah, and so hypothetically speaking, you could redistill something over and over and
Yeah,
basically
it's
strip all those bad flavors away.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Which is very labor intensive, but you could. We could do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
we try not to. But
We
Right.
haven't done that.
No,
yet.
that's what I was asking.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
yeah.
Okay.
very
Can
cool.
you describe the distillation process a little bit? So somebody who's not familiar with what's actually happening with the liquids
Sure.
from start to from the
Yeah.
science guy.
Yeah. So from the side, you want to hear it from the
let's hear
market
from
guy?
you. Yeah,
I can give the 5-year-old explanation.
I won't go into too much detail, but I mean, in a nutshell, it's just a big pot that you're heating up, and that alcohol is going to vaporize or boil off before all the water does, all the extra ferment that's in there, and then it's just going to go through a fancy part called a column, and that's where it strips away some of the flavor, but it also strips away a lot of the yucky, nasty bits in there as well. So. Yeah, I mean, in a nutshell, and then so it's a vapor, and then it comes out, and then we have a condenser that cools that vapor back down to a liquid form, and so we just double distill that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. What were some of the biggest hurdles you guys faced getting this whole business started?
Okay.
Was it the regulatory side, or was it more the
100%.
production? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, regulatory was actually, so we'll separate. So federal, the license only took 1 month. No,
1 week.
1 week. It was
Wow.
1 week. So, and a lot of that I think can be attributed to the fact that since we were the first legal distillery, in the county since Prohibition, there wasn't really anyone that had a lot of experience in the county, in the city, opening up a distillery yet. So I'll say that our building is probably the safest building in Rock Hill. When the apocalypse happens, whatever happens, come to the distillery.
Besides that bomb shelter that's in the bottom of the old, is it a little bank or whatever?
Under the old downtown.
Is that
Yeah.
is that legit though? Is that
There's a
real?
nuclear bomb shelter, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
What? I
Yeah.
thought that was like.
So we used to be above that,
We're
right?
second
Okay.
safest. Second.
Right
Yeah,
across
sure.
the
We're
street, the
second
old
safest. Yeah,
Gettys
I'll
building.
take it.
Yeah. So it took, and I'm not gonna say anything bad about the city of Rock Hill, but it did take us 4 years with them.
Yeah.
They were extremely thorough in their plans for us, and we
That's a good word.
appreciate them being concerned about the safety of us and our clients.
That's well said. That's well,
Well put.
said, isn't it?
Science guy.
He said it better than I would have said it.
Right.
But with that was definitely the longest because I mean it really was 4 years.
Yeah.
So when you think about it, that's a long time because I mean
Holy-
that's day
4
in and
years?
day out of 4 years.
It took us 7 years total to
7
open
years open
since we
Yeah.
purchased the building.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, so you actually purchased the building? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I didn't realize.
Wow,
you
wow, wow. That's crazy.
Which
And you don't really have many people you can go to around here. Do you have people that you talk to in the industry?
there's a couple other local places, but probably the most local probably Muddy River up in Belmont. They also make rum up there. There's some other smaller distilleries too that we've kind of chit chatted back and forth with, but in the end we all try to help each other out anyways. So I mean even the brewers will get involved. I mean I just gave some of my used barrels away to a couple of breweries in the area, so
Nice.
they're gonna put some brews in the barrels, and that should turn out pretty awesome. Yeah.
So is that why the name Sleeping? You had to sleep for 7 years before you could
Yeah, where did the name come from? Was that it?
No, it's so that name kind of came into itself about I think about year 5. But so growing up, we played a lot of video games. So we were nerds. I think we still are nerds.
Whoa.
We definitely still are nerds in a good way. So one of our favorite series to play is a series called The Elder Scrolls, which is where you have like Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, and I think it's probably our favorite series probably to play. And in that game, there's like a creepy little inn up in the mountainside, and it's called Sleeping Giant Inn.
Okay.
I hope Bethesda isn't going to sue us after this.
Caleb, do you know about this?
I know what the games are. I haven't actually played them, but I know
Yeah,
what they are.
but it just came from that.
Anything geeky stuff, I cross-check with Caleb.
Easy games. Check out. Yeah.
Are they lying?
But yeah,
Check out.
we just really liked the name, and it kind of like stuck with us. And the other name that I think we were contemplating using was Undertow, which is a really cool name, but I think more if you're by the coast, it makes more sense.
Oh yeah.
Being in the Piedmont, like 3 hours away, I don't know if it makes sense to call
Right.
it Undertow Distillery. It's
Right,
like
right.
3 hours from the beach.
Yeah.
So is that the only bottle, the design of the bottle, that's the only shape, only design, or you have different types of bottles?
That is the only one. I will say as well that bottle is made in Georgia,
Yeah.
Okay.
of all
nice.
places, which is pretty rare to find a bottle which is made in the U.S. Period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
cool.
And that's Georgia, like not the country Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just south of
That's like just south of us. Yeah.
Yeah, the bottles all the same. The labels are kind of all have their own little
Okay.
design to them. own
Different
little,
label designs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that the labeling of that? Is that done by hand, or is you have a machine that puts it on?
We have it's like semi-automated. So
Okay.
yeah, you put a bottle on it, press a button, it labels it. But then we still have to. There's a lot of manual input, so we actually go over, double check each bottle, make sure it meets our standards.
Right.
Put the tamper seal on, write each batch number on the bottle, things like that.
It looks like a
Oh, wow.
turquoise.
Okay.
Get the bench number. Oh, I see. Gotcha.
Did you
Is
see
that
the
something
labeling?
you're required to do, or that's just a thing that you do?
That's just something
for-
we like to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're small enough we can do that.
Yeah, well, you feel like you're getting something special. Yeah.
Yeah, little
is
hand
special.
label. Yeah.
It is special, of course. obviously. From the user
Charles, let me have the bottle. Let me see the story behind it. Go ahead.
perspective. Let's read that story.
He's
Go
gonna
ahead.
fact check everything we just said.
So what was that?
Hey, small businesses. Do you have a robust, integrated solution to efficiently and securely file your Form 1099, W-2, W-9, 1095, 94X forms, and more? Don't worry about creating a solution. Let Tax Bandits handle it for you. Tax Bandits goes beyond just tax form generation and e-filing. We also offer robust validation features to ensure accuracy and security throughout the process. with address validation and tin matching. Tax Bandits is even SOC 2 certified. With Tax Bandits, tax calculations are automated, filling out your forms accurately and submitting them to the IRS, SSA, and states seamlessly, all within your account. Plus, we allow you to give your clients convenient access to recipient copies via postal mail or online access. Visit taxbandits.com today and join the ranks of successful business owners who are using Tax Bandits to e-file their tax forms.
And we're back, and we're going to try some of this. We've got the spice-flavored rum here.
So every episode, we open a different bottle. And then we pitch to them, see if they will sponsor us.
This time, you guys are right here. Hopefully, you guys will listen to this episode. Maybe the creators will listen to it and get a little sips here.
We just got to turn this into a rum podcast now.
Oh yeah, it's got to be a
and
rum
then they
podcast.
could sponsor us and it'll work out.
Yeah. Stock your shelves.
I'm trying my hand at bartending.
You got liquor on your trousers. Your son is going to be daddy. What is that?
Saving it for later.
All right, so make sure it's legit. I'll have some to you guys too.
He's making us taste
So
it.
there's
Thank
a
you.
tasting.
Poisoned.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cheers, sir.
All right, cheers, guys.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers.
Thanks for bringing
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Cheers.
Cheers. I should note we are not very advanced in talking about this kind of stuff.
So if you actually kind of smell it too, it's actually very
Yeah.
aromatic.
Yeah, I'm
apples.
getting like a lot of fruity notes to it.
A lot
Yeah.
of apples midway through is where
Yeah,
you're gonna kind of
apples,
get
yeah.
that bite. A lot of people get the clove. Some people get a little.
I
bit
do.
of
I
nutmeg out of
definitely
it.
taste the clove part here, but will the taste change if you had ice in it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It does?
the flavors will
Yeah.
change.
Okay.
Yeah. It's really
What's
good.
your preferred rum drink? Do you like?
I haven't had rum probably like in 10 years.
Yeah, because you've been kind of a big bourbon focus the past
Yeah.
10 years.
Well, you can't say that now because you just
I
had
got
a
to say,
sip.
That is true. Yeah. That is true. Yeah.
First in 10 years.
I'm trying to think back. Like the rum taste that I can remember is more with rum and Coke, the sweet part of it. So not having any mixer with it, it's slightly different for me. But let me take a couple more sips, Charles. All right, cool. So now, what is the big plan for the business? I know you guys are coming up to 2 years, and so 2 years of being actually in business. We're 9 years into it.
9 years of
Wow, seems like a long time when you say
fame.
no.
Yeah, almost a decade. I don't know. I think we're the building we're at. We have a 100-gallon pot still, which maybe sounds like a lot, but it's really not that much. We're very small compared to even some other distilleries in like South and North Carolina. So like if we wanted to expand, I guess we maybe could increase the still size a little bit, but that there's some other kind of complications that goes in with that as well.
Yeah. I mean, like the building, for anyone who doesn't know, is the whole building is 1,200 square feet.
Yeah.
And so that includes a tasting room up front and a bathroom and a utility closet as well. So,
Right.
I mean, we're
Yeah.
working with like
City
maybe like
apartment.
700, 750 square feet,
Right.
and all this stuff in. So we're pretty limited on what we can make. With that being said, we haven't met complete production, 100% production, which is nice. But at some point, if it gets bigger, we'll have to just look at some other place close by. Yeah, we wouldn't certainly want to move out of the area.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, you could kind of have like a production facility.
Yeah.
Here I am with the
Yeah.
production word.
Yes.
Same thing. Yeah,
you have
you're
a
right.
facility for that, and then
Yeah.
you could keep your storefront as like the retail focus of the business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Would
it's
that
just
be
the
like
two
your-
of you guys in the business, or there's more people?
Well, it's so myself and him, and then our mother actually helps out on the weekends with tastings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
And sometimes my wife will get involved as well. So my wife is the one that actually designed all the logo and stuff as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're definitely.
So you guys are
family,
doing this
owned
full
and
time?
operated.
Are you
I'm
both?
full time.
He's
Okay.
full time. I guess I still have a day job. I'm moving my hands in quotations for those that can't see.
It's a day job, but
Yeah,
he
it's a
is,
day
he is here
job.
right now in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
afternoon.
yeah.
So,
Doctor's appointment right now.
what kind of?
So tell me how you guys market your product right now.
So a lot of it is online through
Yeah.
social media. We actually tried the Billboard Avenue at one point, and that seems to just kind of be, in my opinion, kind of like a dying way of marketing.
Yeah.
You should have asked us first. We could have given you advice on that.
Like, it's all right. I mean, people are definitely seeing it, but there's like so little ways to gauge your success with
Yes.
that.
Yeah. I mean, well, we even asked people, to come in. How'd you hear about us? And I mean,
Right.
a couple
It was-
people during
it was-
3-month spans. It just wasn't worth it.
Right.
We also
It's kind of more concerning too, because I think even though we had the billboard, more people probably saw us on their phones when they were driving.
Yeah.
Most probably true.
Right.
Yeah.
Through social advertising.
The best way that we can do it, and because it's kind of like a roundabout way of us selling bottles, is to go to a restaurant or a bar and say, "Hey, we're here. We're cool. We have awesome rum.
Yeah,
carry
make
our
that personal
carry our
connection.
rum.
Yeah.
Make some cocktails with it, and then so that forces them to go to their local ABC store." Which then the ABC store contacts the distributor, and we sell to the distributor, and blah blah blah, that kind of thing. So
Oh, so you can't go to a bar and sell it to them directly.
in South Carolina, we have to sell it to a distributor if we don't sell it out of our own facility, and then they have to sell it to an ABC store. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So everyone gets a little bit of that pie along the way.
How about that?
Yeah.
It's all Nikki Haley jokes.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's get her on. I've got her on the list. She's going to come on the show eventually. How do you guys prefer to drink this? Straight up? You got certain mixers you like, cocktails?
I usually prefer everything I make straight up, but I'm just
Yeah.
kind of a straight up kind of guy.
I do like the silver over some ice.
Yeah,
I
this
do, yeah.
one in particular, the spiced one. We made this, not the mixer we have currently, but the one we just got done using. That was about a month ago. It's a Black Forest Smash, and so it has some walnut bitters and some cherry juice in there, and some ginger ale, and that one is
Interesting.
one's
phenomenal
really good.
with this spiced rum.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
for sure. And that's on our website, by the way, if anyone wants to go look at that.
Yeah. And what is your website again, just for people?
It is so easy. It's just www.sleepinggiantdistillery.com.
The World Wide Web. Sleeping Giant Distillery. Commercial.
We've
So
been in business
how much? How much is one of these bottles sell at your place for?
So we sell them for $34, and that's out the door.
That's with tax. too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
There'll be
like very reasonable price. point.
Yeah.
It
Like
is,
how-
yeah.
Do you have a foresee doing like with these more like aged products in the future? Those are obviously going to have a higher price point for some of those things.
Correct. Yeah. And I mean, we understand that, people are going out there and spending lots of money on rums that have been aged for 10, 15 plus years kind of thing. So we have to keep that in mind, but we will certainly, any of the one-offs that we have, which we are releasing one this Friday, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a coffee rum that was
day
aged
this
in a
releases.
used bourbon barrel for about 14 months.
Yep.
So that one's pretty awesome. That one will be just a little bit higher than 34.
Yeah, so that'll be.
But all
the
still
day this
very
comes out.
reasonable. I mean, you got to
Yeah,
think
yeah.
we're very small batch. I mean,
Yeah. And you said the proof on your silver is 80, and then the flavored stuff is a 60 proof.
60.
So much lower proof on those.
Yeah.
The aged stuff, does that get higher? Or do you ever do higher proofs than 80, or is that as
Question. So the coffee rum is going to be 80 as well, and then we're gonna for our aged rum that we're gonna release at the 2-year mark, it's gonna be kind of like around 90 proof or so, give or take, or maybe 92. It tends to be that one's a little smoother, a little sweeter, and so we feel like we can push the alcohol a little bit to give it more of a bite to it.
So are you guys putting away juice to be aged like continuously, like
Yeah.
5-year, 10-year, 15-year?
Yeah, well, we're gonna start doing that for sure. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I have a couple barrels actually on the way as we speak.
Yep.
Yeah.
Some used Kentucky bourbon barrels that had whiskey in them after that, and so we're gonna dump some rum in there and just let them sit there for
That's cool.
I don't know, 4 or 5 years maybe. If we can stand that long, that's a long time to let rum sit without tasting it.
Right.
Well, we also have what we got about 6 months ago. It's an ex maple syrup, ex cognac barrel
Oh, interesting.
that we threw some of the, like a blend of the silver in. And then we also have a blackberry brandy barrel that we got too. So just kind of doing like one-off things.
How does one find these like unique barrels like that? Are you talking to people directly, or are you?
Just online.
Yeah,
Oh
you
yeah.
can-
It's
yeah.
an online world.
Yeah, it's the World Wide Web.
physically searching them out. Where are the?
Yeah, but no, there's like barrel brokers you can go. You
Yeah.
can buy a barrel
Certainly.
yourself. Yeah, but it allows us to kind of get these cool one-offs that we can kind of play with, have some fun.
What does one of those barrels sell for?
Ooh, it depends which one you're talking about. Anywhere from $300 to $600.
For
Really?
each?
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
How much can be held in one barrel? So, like, how many bottles will one barrel make?
Most of them hold 53 gallons. That's a standard
Okay.
barrel, so that's around about 400 bottles, give or take.
Oh wow! Okay.
And where do you store them?
At the facility.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
Charles.
we can
Go find those things.
We like the
We're
Maple
gonna have
Mafia.
upper
Let's tell
security,
people.
right?
Make sure those cameras are working.
Like you said, it is the safest building in Rock Hill. So.
Second safest.
Second is besides the apparently the nuclear bomb shelter.
Yeah.
It's good to know.
Fantastic. Anybody want to try it over ice? I want to
Yeah,
make the little tea
please.
thing.
Yeah, we'll try it over ice.
I was
Sure, yeah.
when you said spiced flavored rum, I was picturing like pumpkin spice, like just not that. It's really good. I really like this a lot.
Thank you, thank you.
You need to stop going to Starbucks.
I don't. That's why I don't go because I
He's
don't
a
like
basic
it.
white guy.
Dude, that's the first drink that you were actually gone for the second. You typically
Yeah,
stop
you're
at the
right.
first one.
I was pretty light on that pour.
Oh, come on, don't downplay it.
This is
Come on.
You're very tasty.
Charles, this is ice with.
You're right.
Give the man some more alcohol. Look at him. He's absolutely dying of thirst.
Let's see. You putting more on the freaking carpet than in the glass.
It's these bottles from Georgia.
Don't blame him, bottles.
What else you got going on? You got an event this weekend, right? The weekend Renaissance Fair going on this weekend?
Yeah, so that was kind of like an impromptu thing.
Yeah.
We basically, one of the guys at Hoppin, the managers, just asked us to see if we wanted to participate in the.
So where is this taking place? In Rock Hill?
Yeah. So downtown. So it's it was last year. It was at the Mercantile. So it was. I think they're calling it the Mercazance or something weird like that. So very fun like that. So we just got invited to do that as well. So we're just gonna have some activities there and make some homemade wassail and have that there. For
fun
people.
wassail.
And, yeah.
Okay.
There were some axes.
There were some plastic axes.
Plastic, yeah,
we'll
just to
put
clarify.
that out there. There will be no metal being thrown.
Metal axes being thrown at the facility.
Drinking rum and throwing axes.
You could go wrong.
And you can do it at the Sleeping Giant Distillery this weekend. All right, let's find it.
Yeah, we try to participate in all kinds of stuff. So we this past Thursday we just got done with the oyster roast, which is a big fundraising event at the White Home, part of Historic Rock Hill. So we were invited to do that, serving up some stuff there. So that was lots of fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is that working out for your business though? I know you're saying it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, certainly. It's as much as we can do with local businesses and events, we will certainly try to do. We're kind of limited because of the distillery laws in South Carolina, what we can do and can't do. But what we can do, we always try to participate in.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Isn't like most of these small town downtowns more like a brewery crowd?
Probably, and that could just be because there's more breweries.
That's
I
just what
don't
the
know.
culture has developed
Yeah,
at this
that's
point. Yeah.
that's probably more.
I mean, down on the coast, you see a few distilleries, though. I know there's a few whiskey distilleries
Yeah.
in Charleston.
I was in
Hilton
Beaufort.
Head.
There was one right
Beaufort,
next to my hotel.
Is
Yeah.
there? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a bunch in Greenville around the
Yeah.
Greenville Spartanburg area.
Yeah,
too.
the moonshine thing. Yeah.
Yeah, moonshine's a big thing around here.
Yeah.
You guys thought moonshine's not for you. We're gonna go classier. We're gonna go.
Well, there's nothing wrong with some moonshine. I mean, I will say, that Old Smoky.
Yeah, the
Old
one in
Smoky-
Gatlinburg?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is the most visited distillery in the world.
Yeah. Well,
It's insane how many people go
What
through
is it,
there
really?
every year. Yeah,
In the
it is.
world?
In the world, it's insane.
Everyone was that banana pudding that they make?
It was like 30 or 40,000 people last year went through that place. Yeah.
it's because it's on the main drag in a very popular city.
Yeah,
Have you
that's
been
true.
to it?
I have not.
Oh
I've
yeah,
not.
I've been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine. We'll top that.
Charles,
next year.
is
We
there
got
any
beat.
tourist place you haven't been to?
There's plenty. There's plenty. There's plenty. I'm sure if you went to, I'm sure if they opened one in Vegas on the Strip or something, it would probably be the higher traffic.
So what are you guys gonna do when Bacardi LLC buys you guys out? What are you gonna do?
I don't know.
What's the goal? Is that the goal? You're gonna get money?
They would have to offer a really.
I mean, how much would they? How much we're talking
I
about?
don't, yeah.
Anyone has a price on them, right? I mean,
What's your? We haven't talked about this. What's your So Bacardi comes and they're like, "Hey, Will, we want to buy you out. What's your number? Because we haven't talked about this, and maybe this is the best place to talk. But let's go for it.
Let's do it on air right now. Let's play in that business.
Throw me a number.
it'd have
in
to
case
be a
anyone's
considerable
listening.
amount of money, considering all the time and sweat
Yeah.
and tears and love put into this business. So, I don't know.
We could give you a little background on, like,
10
when
mil?
we're.
I don't know. Something like that. Something crazy. 15? I don't know. Something that someone would never actually offer us.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
We
Unless
just
one
went,
of y'all,
Josh
when y'all,
Clooney.
are y'all interested?
Well,
maybe band together and just buy it.
we just went through this process. So we exited our first product last year. So Express Truck Tax was sold to Best Pass out of New York.
Okay.
One of our products, and we're closing the end of our transition period here.
right.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know if Aggie has any insight on when to
Didn't
say.
George Clooney sell his tequila brand for $1 billion?
That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Is it really his brand?
The one that he
He was
does the
part.
ads
No, he
for?
was.
But I mean, like, he's not over there like making the tequila and stuff.
Definitely not. I don't blame him
That
from
we
not
know
making.
of. Could be.
You don't have, I don't think you have to actually make it. I mean,
No,
we could find someone like you to make the rum, and if I set up the company, promote and market it, I'm still considered owner of that company.
Are you trying to
you
buy
could
us
be
now?
making-
What's going on?
That's true. Yeah.
But it has to be multiples going into the $100 million range. Otherwise, I'm not interested. Now, you said you do mostly marketing on online and social media. Who does that?
It's mostly me.
That'd be
Okay.
okay.
So do you guys do like videos and stuff, or you just?
Yeah, we'll do videos through kind of the major social media platforms, and it seems like the best reception we've gotten is actually just running through the ads. Seems to be the most cost effective. Most people that haven't heard about us through word of mouth, which is probably the second biggest way that we get out, is through those social media ads. So they seem pretty cost effective. And we get some metrics off them too, so it kind of shows
Right.
a little bit about the areas that are working, the tags that are working that are not. So it's definitely a little bit of a headache sometimes, but
So I've seen on social media. I'm not on social media, but we've
At
grown
all.
our business on social media, and we see others like people who run a tractor all day. This girl is filming herself all day running a tractor, and there's like millions of followers. Do you have anything like that going on for you?
no. But I guess we could have like a stationary camera set that is still that just watches you, just live streaming on Twitch or something like.
I'm sure I get more views if I was shirtless, right?
Yeah,
Or maybe less. Maybe less.
I don't know.
I'm just looking for avenues.
Wear some open-toed shoes or something.
Open toe shoes.
Risque.
Dangerous.
So, do you guys do, or are you allowed to do? Let's say Charles comes to you and goes, "I want to have a tea flavored rum. I want to have like 100 bottles." Do you guys do that? Or are you allowed to do that?
We are allowed to do that. I haven't done that yet. We've had a couple of people approach us about maybe doing like whole batches like that, but nothing's really come to fruition that way. But we certainly could do that.
Yeah, but there's nothing legally that would stop us
Yeah,
from.
correct.
So you're allowed
Yeah.
to put on the label Charles, whatever. Charles.
Yes. Yeah,
come
we
up with
could
the
do
name.
that.
You could
Yeah.
do a co-branded type thing.
Charles's favorite rum.
All right.
All right.
Very
look
cool.
for it next year on the shelf.
This is the tea.
I'm pouring my teas right now. Anybody want to take part in these?
So what are you
teas?
doing, Charles?
I mean, I'll try it. Yeah.
So this is a masala tea with honey. So like chai tea with honey, and I'm adding this spice.
Tea with honey.
Rum. Yes, chai tea. Chai tea. Yeah, it's Aggie's pet peeve.
Why is it a pet peeve?
Well, because chai means tea. So when you say chai
Oh,
tea,
chai.
it just you're TT.
TT.
I mean, are you sure you put rum in this?
Oh, yeah. You want
Okay.
one more?
I don't really taste any. Anyone else?
Hit him, Charles. Hit him up.
That's not bad, really. I thought it was going to be overly spiced, but it's not bad.
I like this personally. This is nice.
It's actually really good.
It's like an Indian hot toddy with rum.
the chuckle.
No.
No, really?
I like the one. I liked with ice. Maybe because I'm used to that tea taste, drinking
Yeah.
that every day. It kind of tastes like it's gone bad tea.
No.
It's gone bad tea.
But I really enjoyed it with ice.
Yeah,
That's like
ice.
the perfect way to do it, Charles.
Yeah.
I mean, that was great. I like the taste of it.
Thank you.
It kind of became, once I put a little bit of ice and the temperature went down, it was even more smoother than drinking straight up. It's pretty good.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah. So if people want to buy it, just give you one last for sure
Plug.
plug. If they want to get your stuff,
Plug away.
how should they do it?
We are local. It is basically, it's just us two really doing this. So, I mean, we'd appreciate stop by the distillery because, one, you also get to see where it's made. So you don't just get to buy the bottle, but you can see where it's made. You can talk to us about, we have mixed drink ideas. And it's also just a really cool building. It's from like 1906. So it's pretty cool to see. So come by, see us Fridays and Saturdays. And then we're also in some liquor stores in the Rock Hill, Fort Mill area. And then also in quite a few now, local restaurants in Rock Hill and
Yeah.
Fort Mill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Any other final items to promote or talk about? Things you have coming up?
I guess it's a little bit far off still, but we do have a Christmasville rum.
Yeah, well, it's not that far off.
Yeah, sure, not really. It's almost
Christmas,
November.
what?
So Christmasville. So
Okay,
it's the
yeah.
huge
Right.
festival in downtown Rock Hill.
Yeah.
Last year we made a spiced rum with the spiced rum that y'all are tasting now.
Yeah.
That has just become its own thing. This year we made a one-off, so it's going to be something a little sweeter, but it does have quite a good taste to it. So we're going to call it Spiced Sugar Plum Rum.
Okay.
We partnered with the Honest Elderberry Company, which is also a local small business, and they make elderberry syrup. So there's a little bit of that in there. So it's got a nice purpley kind of hue to it. There's some plum flavors in there, some blueberry, some holiday spices like mulling spices. It's sweetened a little bit. So that will be this year's Christmasville branded rum.
So you'll be selling that over there.
We'll be selling it there. I believe that some downtown businesses are also going to get a hold of it and make cocktails with it as well, a community cocktail.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Fantastic.
You got to go check it out, Charles.
Yeah, I will. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining us. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks,
Sure.
appreciate
Thanks
it.
for
Yeah,
having
good
us.
luck, guys.
Thank you.
Good.
Thanks
Tastes
so much.
good.
Thanks for joining this episode of the Bandit Room. Stick around next week and see what we talk about.
The Bandit Room is a production of Span Enterprises, located in sunny Rock Hill, South Carolina. We've been developing, supporting, and growing successful IRS e-filing and business management solutions since 2010. Go to spanenterprises.com now to learn more.
The views and opinions expressed in the Bandit Room are those of the guests and do not necessarily reflect or state the opinions of Span Enterprises. No information should be considered as tax, legal, or other professional advice.